Storms will come, the temperature will drop, people will disappoint you, the world will shift beneath your feet, and the question is not, can I prevent this? The real question is, can I still live well, even when all of this happens? The Stoics believed the answer was yes, a resounding, disciplined, courageous yes, not because life becomes easier, but because you become stronger. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." But even when reality does bring true pain, uncertainty, or injustice, the Stoic holds fast. He does not require smooth sailing. He prepares his mind to navigate storms. Marcus Aurelius, writing during wars, plagues, and political betrayal, whispered to himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This is the Stoic proposition, that your ability to live well is rooted in your character, not your circumstance. But let's not misunderstand them. The Stoics did not say suffering is easy. They did not call poverty, grief, or betrayal trivial. They called them indifferent, meaning, these are not what determine the goodness of your life. You can be surrounded by wealth and fame and live poorly if you are dishonest, ungrateful, or hollow inside. You can be struggling, unnoticed, and still live nobly if you hold fast to your principles, keep your dignity, and act with purpose. Think of Epictetus, born into slavery, physically disabled, and denied control over his external life. And yet he became one of the clearest voices on inner freedom. He said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." This was no abstraction. It was survival. It was clarity. It was power in the face of powerlessness. Ask yourself now, have I tied my well-being too tightly to conditions I cannot control? Do I postpone peace until the environment is just right? What would happen if I reversed that logic? To live well in a trying environment does not mean pretending it is not difficult. It means choosing to rise anyway, to act justly, to think clearly, to speak truthfully, to endure with grace. This is what the Stoics called Eudaimonia, a state of flourishing grounded not in chance but in virtue, a quiet excellence forged in the fire of challenge. So the next time life turns and the winds howl, ask not, why is this happening? Ask instead, what kind of person will I be in this storm? Because that, above all, is what determines whether you are living well. Before we continue, I want to share something important with you. We've seen that a large number of our viewers, perhaps even you, listen regularly, but haven't yet subscribed. If this message has resonated with you so far, if you find even a moment of stillness or clarity in these reflections, we kindly ask you to consider subscribing. This channel is not about noise. It's not about trends. It's about service. And I can promise you this. Our small but committed team will continue doing everything we possibly can to bring you value every single week. Thoughtfully researched, carefully written, quietly powerful. All we ask in return is that you join us by subscribing and turn on notifications so you never miss your next moment of insight. Let's walk this path together. There are places and seasons that stretch us to our limits. A hostile workplace, a bitter relationship, a city gripped by chaos, a society spiraling into uncertainty. In these trying environments, the temptation is simple. Collapse inward, withdraw, give in, just survive, forget about virtue, wisdom or growth. But that's precisely when your character is being called forward. Epictetus reminds us, difficulties show men what they are. The Stoic does not look for hardship, but when hardship comes, they treat it as an invitation, not to bitterness, but to clarity, not to anger, but to virtue in action. Imagine being surrounded by cynicism, where no one seems to care and everyone cuts corners. Do you become like them? Or do you remain committed to integrity even when no one is watching? Imagine facing a period of deep isolation, no support, no recognition, no light on the horizon. Do you allow despair to take root, or do you draw on a deeper reservoir, a quiet source of strength that is untouched by circumstance? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." Trying environments trick us into believing we're off duty, that we're excused from excellence because conditions are harsh. But the Stoics remind us, it's precisely when the world is falling apart that the noble person is revealed. Let's be honest, the temptation to give up isn't weakness, It's human, but yielding to that temptation shrinks your spirit. You may protect yourself temporarily, but you lose something far more precious. Your identity as someone who chooses how to live. So how do we respond when everything outside us turns grey or hostile or hollow? First, remember that your response is still yours. No environment can take that from you, not without your permission. Second, anchor yourself in what is stable. Not applause, not approval, not comfort, but wisdom, courage, justice, temperance. These are not luxuries, they are tools for survival, spiritual survival. Third, reframe the challenge. Instead of asking, how can I escape this? Ask, how can I grow through this? Seneca wrote, a gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. Friction is not the enemy, it's the furnace of greatness. So when the environment becomes difficult, when people around you lose their way, when the world feels heavy, don't collapse, don't retreat into mediocrity. Stand firm, be calm, be just. Be the one who reminds others that even here, especially here, it is possible to live well. That is the Stoic challenge and the Stoic gift. When everything around you is in turmoil, what remains? When your job is threatened, when relationships fracture, when your health declines, what is left that is truly yours? The Stoics had an answer: your mind, your reasoned choice, your inner fortress. Epictetus said, you may fetter my leg, but my will not even Zeus himself can overcome. The external world may collapse, but your inner world, that's sacred territory, defensible, impenetrable, and wholly yours if you know how to guard it. Imagine standing in the middle of a thunderstorm, soaked, cold, afraid. You can't stop the rain, but you can build shelter. In life, you cannot stop rejection, insult, failure, or misfortune. But you can decide how you interpret these events. You can choose whether they define you or refine you. The Stoics called this your prohairesis, your faculty of judgment, choice, and response. It's the final frontier of freedom, and once you grasp this truth, you become unconquerable. Let's bring it into the modern world. The market crashes, your investments plummet. Can you still act with patience and reason? A colleague betrays your trust. Can you respond with clarity, not vengeance? The public ridicules your work. Can you stay committed to your purpose, not their applause? Marcus Aurelius wrote, choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. To the modern ear, that may sound like denial, but it is the ultimate discipline. Not to pretend harm doesn't exist, but to decide whether it will control you. Here's a practical approach. Pause before reacting. Your first impulse is rarely the wisest. Wait, breathe, then respond with intention. Name the choice. Say to yourself, I have the power to meet this moment with wisdom or with weakness. Then choose. Return to your values. Ask, what would courage do? What would wisdom say? What would justice require? Let those questions guide you. Your environment can shake you, but only you decide whether it shatters you. Seneca wrote, no man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself. Hardship is not your enemy, it is your arena, and the more you train your mind to see clearly, to choose rightly, to act nobly, the more your inner fortress becomes unshakable. Even when surrounded by noise, confusion, or chaos, you remain calm, you remain kind, you remain you. Because the Stoic doesn't depend on the weather. They build a fire that no storm can extinguish. In a world constantly in flux, where one moment brings calm and the next a storm, what can keep us rooted? The Stoics gave us an answer both profound and practical: duty. Marcus Aurelius wrote, at dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being. Not as a title, not as a machine, not as a puppet of others' expectations, but as a human being, called to live justly, act nobly, and serve something greater than oneself. When your environment becomes hostile, your purpose becomes your compass. You don't need applause to act with integrity. You don't need certainty to live with courage. You need only to ask, what is mine to do? What does this moment ask of me? Seneca wrote, life is long if you know how to use it. We waste precious time worrying about what others think. We crumble under the weight of changing moods and chaotic conditions. But when we anchor ourselves in duty, we stop drifting. We stop chasing peace in pleasure or validation. Instead, we become clear. This is who I am. This is what I stand for. This is the work that is mine to do. Imagine a physician in a war zone. The noise is deafening, supplies are low, fear is everywhere. What keeps her steady? Not the comfort of the setting, but the clarity of her role, her duty, her calling. In the same way, you may find yourself in emotional war zones, a family conflict, a collapsing company, a friend in crisis. Ask yourself, who do I choose to be here? What virtues do I bring to this moment? Duty is not obligation for its own sake. It's a compass pointing to what is meaningful. Epictetus reminds us, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. In moments of chaos, you don't need to shout your values. You need only to live them. You become the steady hand in a storm, the calm voice in a heated room, the quiet strength in a collapsing system. Not because you have all the answers, but because you've committed to the work that is yours. It might be showing up every day for your children. It might be finishing a project with honor, even after being overlooked. It might be caring for someone no one else sees. Duty gives shape to difficulty. It turns suffering into service. It transforms survival into significance. The Stoics believed you could live well in any environment, but only if you knew what your soul stood for. Let duty be your anchor, and you will never be lost. The storms of life are not optional. They come in many forms: loss, betrayal, uncertainty, failure. Some are loud and sudden, others are slow and relentless. But all storms test us, not just our circumstances. They test our strength, our clarity, our philosophy. So what does it mean to live well, not after the storm, but within it? Marcus Aurelius gives us this vision. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This is not mere optimism. This is a radical reorientation. The storm does not block the path, it becomes the path. To live well amid difficulty is to stop asking, why is this happening to me? And to start asking, what can I do with this? Think of a tree that grows on a cliffside. Its roots grip rock, its branches lean into the wind. It never had the luxury of rich soil or quiet skies, and yet it grows, not in spite of its conditions, but because of them. This is what Stoicism offers you, not protection from life, but strength for it. You may not control the economy or politics or the people who disappoint you, but you control your response, your perspective, your choices. Seneca said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." So when life grinds against you, don't resist the shaping, welcome it. Live well by living aligned with your values, with your reason, with your highest self. When others panic, you pause. When others lash out, you listen. When others quit, you persist. You do not need to broadcast your composure. Let your calm be quiet. Let your dignity be steady. Let your actions speak. To live well in hard times is not to escape them. It is to become equal to them. Not by force, but by grace. Not by denial, but by depth. Each day you act with integrity. Each time you choose clarity over chaos. Each time you rise again. You are living well, because the Stoic does not wait for calm seas. The Stoic becomes a skilled sailor. So ask yourself, not when will life get easier, but how can I get stronger? This is the quiet strength. This is the inner citadel. This is the life well lived. Even when the winds rage, you don't need better weather, you need better steering. And that always is within your control. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and turn on notifications for more thoughtful content.